here. Hope you guys are doing great. So in this geeky gear chat, I have the awesome Adam from the awesome band Massive Wagons. Do check them out, you guys. They are friggin' awesome. I don't need to say that anyhow. But so, we're going to be hanging out, just chatting about, guitars, pedal boards, amps, and all that cool stuff. And if you are into such videos, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel. Would help me out a lot. So before we dive right in, man, can you just, I would say, a massive thanks to you for taking the time and having this chat with me. So Adam is into production and other cool stuff as well. More about that during our chat. So let's kick this off by a quick introduction to how did it all begin, man?
Right, okay, mate. Well, thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you for having me. That's very kind. Oh God. Well, personally, I've always played guitar. I've always been into music, because of my parents were big fans of rock music in particular, but also country, and music's just always in the house. That typical story you hear from a lot of people who play. And then it wasn't until I was a teenager, really, about 14, 15, when I started really getting into the music I liked, which was the biggest one for me, honestly, was Metallica. And this was
same here, man.
I know they're like, it's very obvious to say, but at the time in school, people weren't listening to Metallica now. I know it's almost like they've become a lot more mass appeal, to people who aren't like crossing genres and things. But back then, if you like Metallica, you liked rock and metal. Only people who like rock and metal like Metallica. And that for me, when I heard those solos, that was like, right, I'm gonna grab that guitar. I'm gonna learn how to do that. And that's the very first memory I have of that. And then since then, I went to university to study a kind of engineering degree, which, to be honest, it was good. It was good as a social aspect and meeting people and getting stuck in. But the course itself, you get out of it what you put in, which I guess is true of any course. And to be honest, I was more into the social activities of uni, so I never really got the most out of it. But I met some great people, and while I was at uni, not at uni, but I met Baz, who's there in the background working.
I was just about to pop that question, man. You can see the band is really working hard. Baz, hey, man, how about a quick hi? So just a quick one for the viewers. What's happening? Is that a new space that you guys have, or?
Sorry, this isn't as a picturesque backdrop as it could be, but we've just got this second office. Like, we've got a unit, like an industrial unit that we've been using as a rehearsal space and also an office, and doing our merchandise from for 2 years now. However, we're just kind of outgrown it, really. It's particularly with the merchandise, which is ever expanded. Bands nowadays.
So we could expect a lot of new merch coming out from the band, right?
Yeah, we always try to keep it fresh. Keep the options there for people. It's great that people seem to be jumping on board all the time, and it's nice to have something quite current and very and fresh for them to get straight away if they want, really. But that's all the band is, really. It's just the music is just an advert for people to buy merch, really. That's what it is now. But
you guys are being too polite, man. What would you say in the Massive Wagons, the whole merch thing? What would you say the most popular bit of merch that actually sells for the band?
T-shirts are the obvious ones. T-shirts,
all right, cool.
I know that's boring, but we also think outside the box, and we've done things like Sticks of Rock, Seaside Rock with Massive Wagons or something written on it. We've done album coasters, beer mats. Everything from socks, scarves. We're turning into Kiss, really. So but there does come a point though when you have to go, is this a bit silly? I think we kind of got that way with when we hit the rock. Really, it was like, are we going too far here? Yeah, but
It's never too far, man. I think what you guys are doing is just freaking awesome. I'm just checking out your YouTube channel with all those live gigs, man. It's just so much energy and impact that you guys create. It's freaking cool.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Cool. So have you always, did you start off as a guitarist, or did you, that was the first instrument you picked up?
It's the only instrument. Yeah, I've never, obviously bass, because, the skills were transferable.
Yeah.
But, no, I've never played drums, never really sang. No, I flirted with piano for a little bit, and if there's a piano there, I can kind of go away, but I would never say I'm a pianist or I could play piano. So but that is definitely something. I think if I was going to do anything else, I would like to try piano, because it's such a friendly instrument. It's one of those,
I think it's one of those good writing instruments, isn't it? You got all the elements there, the low end, and everything in between. That is so cool, man. So can you remember your first guitar ever that you actually picked up?
I can. It was a Fender Squier Strat, just a Mexican Squier Strat, and it was like Fiesta red with a white scratch plate. Nothing particularly fancy, but those Squiers around about that time, because it was like a mid-90s one, and it was really solid, really well made. Better than a lot of them made now, actually. But I had that, and I had it up until it actually got stolen at university. When I was at university, the flat I was living in got raided, and that was stolen. So that was
such a shame, dude.
Well, it wasn't worth a lot, but it was sentimentally quite, important.
It would probably be worth a lot now because of because of you, man. Now with Massive Wagons, definitely be worth a lot more. So, moving on from that, have you, how up from then to now, how many brands of guitars actually have you changed, and you hit to this point that you stuck to a brand and never changed from now,
Well, there was a period of time when Massive Wagons started, around about 2010.
Yeah.
And then between then and 2014, which was when I had my first kid.
Cool.
Which is no coincidence that was the point when it stopped. But I went through a lot of guitars, I was all the time trading and selling things and trying new stuff. But I've always had a core set of guitars. Like I play Flying V's, Gibson Flying V's, really, because I was a huge Michael Schenker fan, and also a guy out of a band called Thunder, a UK
cool,
rock. I was a huge fan of Luke Morley, and for quite a long time he played a cherry left-handed, cherry Flying V, and I just thought it was ace. And when I was about when my dad noticed that I was quite into music, like more than your average person, he very, very kindly went and got me a cherry Flying V. When I was about 15, 16, and that, turning up to school gigs and things with this, it was like, I felt like a king. But and that guitar's still with me. That's still
cool.
Still does get gigged every now and again, but it's got like a crack in the headstock, and I'm trying to not take it out too far. If there's something local, I might take it down, but I wouldn't put it through a tour or anything. Also, there's another white Gibson Flying V. These are just standard range Flying Vs, nothing custom shop or anything, just the standards. And I that between that one and a white one, those have made up the bread and butter of what I've used really since 2014. Really, that's it. I don't live anyway. I'll play all kinds of stuff in the studio.
Cool.
Those are my live guitars. Yeah.
Awesome. And do you happen to do any kind of mods on your guitars, man?
I generally upgrade the tuners, so the machine heads. Sorry. I use Grover tuners. I think it's maybe 50, 60 quid a set.
Yeah.
And I like just the consistency. I think I had a bad set on a stock Gibson tuner. Sometimes it's great. If it's great, it's fine.
Yeah.
I had a bad set once, and I changed them, and it was just so good and so smooth, and it just stayed bang on. That I liked having all my guitars having the same. So and it's the same for my. I now use a Guitar Tech. I'm very lucky that we're able to use Guitar Tech, and I think they appreciate the consistency there as well. So I usually change that.
Yeah.
I like pickups. I think that the pickup makes more of an impact on the final sound.
Yeah.
Than like up until obviously the amp and the speaker.
Yeah.
That's the single biggest difference in your tone, path, signal path. So I like to get them right, and I like quite low output pickups. I like pickups that don't. I don't tend to look at the numbers, but the DC try not to go above 10K really.
Awesome.
I would find that the lower ones work better for me. I just like that headroom, being able to play softly, and you get the soft sound, whereas some of the heavy like ceramic magnet pickups, the real high output ones, there's no dynamics, it's just zero or nothing,
Yeah.
But those two things really. I'm always, it's not really an upgrade, but I do keep changing the like the wiring harness and the pots and the jacks, because we gig a lot, and they do wear out, and I'd rather crackly pots and dodgy jacks I don't like. So
I totally get that, man. I totally get that. So when did you get into bare knuckle pickups, man? And what model are you actually using currently?
Oh, I went through lots. It's kind of how I discovered, really, because up until that point, I hadn't really paid attention to the magnet type or the DC resistance or anything like that. I just got pickups, and if I liked them, I liked them. But then I realized, well, I like these ones. What's different? And then I looked into them, and it was all the ones like the Mule, the VH2, and the Riff Raff. Those three are just. And to be honest, all three of those are the three that I use, and they all offer a different but distinct flavor. Yeah, but it's still not like I had a black dog. I had a black dog, and I had it begins with an A. I can't remember.
It's not the Aftermath or something, is it?
No, it's not the Aftermath. No, because those are like crazy, aren't they? I remember Abraxas.
Oh yeah, cool.
And these were great, but like I say, they were just a bit too saturated, a bit too all or nothing. Yeah. And now I found something I like. I try not to tinker with it too much, unless I want something different. I'll stick with that. But I also have some Strats, and I have they've got the what's the Rory Irish Tour? Yeah, the Irish Tour set, and they're just amazing. Just so that Strat sound,
I totally get that, man.
I love it's not what we do, but I love that sound. I've been through that. I've tried bringing a Strat out at a gig, and our sound guy is just like, please put that down. It's okay for what it is, but it's not what we do.
So. It's not the Massive Wagon sound, man. Definitely not. So what brand of strings and what gauge of strings are you using, man, currently?
We use Ernie Ball. We're lucky enough to have a deal with a company called Strings and Things in association with Ernie Ball, and we get a real good deal on strings. So we just buy tons in bulk, and then that sees us until they run out, and then we buy some more. But we generally use the purple ones, which are I think that's 11 to 48. Yeah. So not crazy heavy, but it's sort of in the middle, I think. I like something there. I like something pushing back, and anything lower than that, I tend to overbend. Because I play quite hard, and you're knocking it out of tune with your right hand. So this again, it just works. So I just leave it at that. Really,
that's great, man. So that was an awesome thing into guitars, man. So going from your guitars, you go straight into a pedal board, or are you going direct into an amp? What is the whole setup? So let's dive right into your pedal board. I think you know what's going on over there.
Currently, not a lot.
Yeah.
I like. I've learned over time not to overcomplicate things. You know, we're quite a basic sound. You know, we're not prog band. We're not changing tones every song. You know.
Yeah.
So what I like and what I'm comfortable with now is something that's just simple and it just does the job and it works. That's not to say that I don't pay attention to all the components in the signal, but I try not to change things on the fly too much. You know, like I used to get a new pedal in a shop and then we're in the middle of a tour and then put it in the pedal board that night and then play it and I'd be going, this isn't as good. Why did I do that? You know, I should just wait, rehearse and then see.
Yeah.
But at the moment, so tuner, obviously, well, we run a wireless, so the is it EW 100 G4 series? They're kind of like the industry ones, and we pay for the I think we're on E channel. You know, so not one of the free channels. We pay for the license for the one of the reserve channels because again, this is something I discovered when you turn up to the gig and you're using particularly the 2.4 gigahertz channel. Just, you know, the Wi-Fi, it might be good in sound check, but then when the room fills up, everyone's on the phone. It is full of Wi-Fi and suddenly you've got no guitar or it's cutting out. So it's boring to spend your money on something as boring as a wireless, a good wireless, but it's so worth it, you know, to have that in mind.
Yeah. And so are you using the Sennheisers one, aren't you? Sennheisers. Cool, man. So
they just we've got a bit of a deal with Sennheiser as well. So we've just done the whole band on Sennheiser. Same with the in-ears.
Awesome. So basically, like the whole package, everyone uses in-ears when you're live. It's all kind of racked up, you know, kind of a rack unit, if I would say, and it's all. So do you guys have like a sound guide on stage to take care of all of that, or do you guys kind of do everything yourselves?
No, we've used our tour manager. He's also our front of house guy.
All right,
he's a wizard when it comes to this stuff. You know, he genuinely loves it. So he's built as a rack. And all the receivers and transmitters for the in-ears, they're all built into this rack. And it is just one thing that we just wheel in and we're good to go. You know, it's really it was a game changer for us, that really. But,
awesome, man. Awesome. So what amps are you using at the moment?
Well, I like I said, sorry, I so just go to the tuner and then a wah maybe if I need it. If the wah's in the set, I try to not overuse the wah pedal because it's just a sound that is everywhere now. It doesn't. It's not. It's kind of, to me, it's kind of boring now. You know, solo, right? Time for the wah pedal. You know, I try not to do that. You know. But and then so amp wise, I like to be able to get the sound I want. With just the with no pedals, no overdrives, really. If I can help it, I'll just use the amp sound because again, it's why you know
why complicate things, right?
Exactly. If I can't get the sound, get a pedal, fine. But some people assume you need a pedal. You know, it's like, well, what's your overdrive pedal and then what's your amp? And it's like, well, I don't. If I don't need an overdrive pedal, I won't use one. But I've been using Buddha super drives for 3 years now, maybe three or 4 years, and they're great. You know, they're very Marshall in flavor, but they've just got a lot more bass there. With most Marshalls, you kind of start with the bass on 10 just to get some
oomph out of it.
This is the opposite. You have to start with the bass on 1 or 2, and then just gently knock it up. But I love that. I love that low mid kind of hump. I love that. It's great.
That's cool, man. So how you know what are your thoughts on modelers? You know, going from all this analog stuff. What are your thoughts? Have you used any of these? You know, Line 6, Helix, or Kempers, or Axe-Fx, and now the new one, the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. What are your thoughts on those, man?
I think they're great. I've never used them live. I've never used them in a live setting. And I'm not saying I wouldn't. I just Kempers and Axe-Fx things are expensive, and I've not felt the need to try them. But when we're in the studio, they're very useful for, say you finish your album, and then we take some profiles of the sounds that we've used on the album.
Yeah.
And then if you need any overdubs later on, but we're not in the studio, then just use this Kemper profile. You know, we record a DI, send it to our mix engineer, and he'll run it through the Kemper. Or in his case, now he's actually using the the Cortex.
Yeah.
And again, it just sounds great. You know, it just sounds. And in the studio last time, we were actually referencing our album tone for this album against the last album tone on a Kemper profile. So we were able to sort of instantly A/B, well, this is what this riff sounds like on the last album. This is what it sounds like on this album.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it's not exactly the same, but they're great. You know, I've absolutely no issues with
that. Pretty close. Yeah.
And we went to watch Ghost the other day in Manchester.
Yeah.
We have it on good authority that the Ghouls, they use Axe-Fx. I think the whole show is run. It's a huge theatre production, and they have a lot of sound changes, a lot of different effects going on. Yeah, and it's all MIDI controlled. Yeah. You know, to do this with a traditional valve amp, it would just be a nightmare. Yeah. And you know what? And they sounded amazing. They sounded absolutely incredible. No one in this arena full of people cares. They don't care.
Of course, man. You know, once Metallica changed, that tells the whole story. I think Metallica's using Axe-Fx for a long time now. It's been definitely more than 5. Yeah, for a while.
Yeah. Who's going to go and tell them that, you know, that it's just, and again, Baz was just saying that Stephen, the other guitarist in the band, he's not as open-minded as me. Let's put it that way. He's very traditional when it comes to the valve.
Cool.
Valve amp,
So, would you say the band, kind of when you have an album or a single, do you guys record as a whole? You know, go into a big studio and set up and track as a whole band?
Yeah, well, the last 2 albums, we've just finished recording a new album, and we did it almost identical to the way we did the last album because it worked so well that we make sure for the first 10 days, 2 weeks, we're all in the studio. Yeah. And we spend a day or 2 just working on the songs, and then every day we just take them song by song. So what we do, we have the full band set up in one room, because the studio we used was it belongs to Andy Sneap.
All right.
He's now playing with Judas Priest, and he's a incredible producer in his own right. But he wasn't our producer. We were just doing it at his studio, which is where he lives. Yeah. So he was there, but we were doing it with Colin Richardson and a guy called Chris Clancy, who's really talented guy. And basically we work on a song in this room, and then when we're all good, Alex, the drummer, then jumps onto the kit that's all mic'd up, a different kit, and we all go onto the Cortex, the Quad Cortex, in the control room, and play along with him live. Yeah. So, you know, just this way, there's no spill. Yeah. And then we record Alex's drum parts to us all playing, you know, live. Yeah. We're not in the same room, but and then once we've got that, Alex then has a live feel of the rest of us guys with a click. Yeah. To work on the song, and he usually does 3 or 4 run-throughs of the song, and then that'll be then comped together. Yeah. And we just generally end up with something that's got a lot of energy and a lot of it's controlled.
Yeah.
It can't be like run away, go crazy like it's a live gig. You need control, and it's a good compromise between them.
Yeah.
So again, this is a great example of where Kempers, Axe Effects, Vortex, whatever, they're very, very useful for this.
Cool,
we used to do this with the Line 6 pods, and it really did sound awesome.
So would you say the band writes together? Do you guys write together, or do you come up with a riff and then take it over at rehearsals, and that's how you build up? What is the whole writing process for Massive Wagons, man?
Oh, well, I generally starts with a musical idea, and that either comes from myself or Stephen, the other guitar player. And then we give the music to Baz when he's not building shells. He'll be writing some. He'll write some words, and that's the lyrical department.
Yeah,
is all Baz, really.
Cool.
And this just works really, and it's a bit strange. Like I explain this to other songwriters, and they find it quite strange that we're happy to just give the music away to let someone else do their thing over, rather than try to control every aspect, the melodies and such. But I think this works for us because it then takes our ideas that may not even be the best ideas musically, but then Baz takes them and puts his own twist on it, something we'd never have thought of. Yeah. And suddenly we've got something that's more unique and more us, it's more I don't know the word, I guess unique is the word, it's just more like what we do rather than I've written songs before. It all comes from my head and I read it and I just think this is so generic, garbage.
Cool. So
it's nice to be able to just think about the music, and I guess it's nice for Baz to just think about the words and singing it.
So would it be okay to give us a quick insight to what we could expect from the new Massive Wagons album? Is it different?
I mean, this is our 6th album, so we've done a few, but only 3 or 4, I would say. Have we been doing the first 2 were almost like practices. They're good and they're great, but they're much of our growing time, But we always try to move on a little bit. You can't totally change direction and suddenly do a jazz album. That's not how you do it. But we try to just kind of move a little bit whilst remembering what the last album was, and not just make it a complete departure, more just steering it in a new direction. And I guess this time probably punky. Really, we're probably going punky.
Okay, cool.
More punky, more Brit pop. Maybe kind of. Bands like Terrorvision and I don't know, some things that are a little bit more. I won't say mainstream, but a little bit more indie almost. Yeah, but while still being,
the Massive Wagon sound.
Exactly, the Massive Wagon sound. We're not Telecasters, things like that. Still Massive Wagon, still Marshalls and Gibsons. But I think we're evolving as songwriters, and certainly lyrically. Yeah. This album is, I think it's. I don't say serious, but it tackles some quite serious subjects. Current affairs. And I don't think we've really done that before, but in a good way. And it's still a good time album. Don't get me wrong. We're not all political or anything, but I think you've got to be interested. You've got to keep interesting, and you can't keep singing about beer and women and
I see what. So, to correct me if I'm getting this wrong, man. I heard that you're into like making your own guitar effects pedals. Am I right?
Yes, I do. Well, my background is electronics. That's what I did for a living for a long time. So I've always modded pedals. I've always found it fascinating to open a pedal and read the schematic, and I kind of learned how audio signals work.
Yeah.
By doing that. But I guess 2 years ago, really, I thought, well, I'll design my own.
Yeah.
And I just don't have the time to make this bigger than what it is, which, to be honest, it's just a hobby. But I have a website called Sharp End Effects, and I have three pedals designed.
Yeah.
And I hand make them. I design the circuit boards. I design the artwork. I paint the enclosures. I populate circuit boards, wire everything. It's start to finish me.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a business in the way that I employ people, and this is it. You know, it's entirely me. So I don't have the time, as much time as I'd like to dedicate to it. But I've just always been fascinated with it, really. You know, the way, especially once you understand the principles, and like it unlocks the possibilities for you. Like the last pedal I made was a treble booster, and it's a basic circuit that's readily available elsewhere. And I'll never say that my circuits are, whoa, get this, it's never been done before, because now
at least it's handmade in the UK, man.
Exactly. Well, you know, that if that means something to you.
Oh, massive, man. Absolutely. Anything that's handmade here, that's what I'll go for.
Yeah, well, I mean, I try not to obviously copy anything, because there's so many pedal companies out there that are just cloning other pedals, and fair enough, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But if I do anything like that, I will say this is a clone of this. You know, I would never pass this off as something innovative, or, you know, like something I've conjured up myself. Yeah. But for example, I've done this treble booster. But one thing about treble boosters I've always hated, I've always thought they were too trebly. I know that sounds because that's the whole point. So I thought, well, it'd be nice to have the option to just dial
kind of tame the frequency. Yeah.
Exactly. So to make it more of a full range, or lowered. And so I just added a couple of controls and modified the circuit, just the range master circuit, to offer that, and make it, and then charge a very reasonable price for it. You know, I'm not charging crazy prices for these pedals. You know, whereas there's companies out there that really do take the mick a little bit, really. And like I say, if no one buys it, I enjoy doing it. So
do you actually use any of your pedals? You know, that's on your pedal board?
Yeah, I have done. Yeah, definitely. I won't lie and say that. Oh yeah, all the time. I have done. I used them. I used one in the studio. This treble booster I'm talking about, and it was great because of this studio. It's got a cupboard, and it's just full of so many pedals. So I picked all the treble boosters off. You know, we had a full tone treble booster. There was an old, like an MXR one, an electro harmonics. You know, the screaming thing. I got them all down, and then put mine in and tried them all together to see. Well, you know, and I was happy to say that mine is great. You know, it's very, very useful. So
cool.
Basically, the last album I used it. I used it on the rhythm sections. So it's on the album. You know, I'll put my money where my mouth is. Good stuff.
Yeah. So, what is the gigging situation for Massive Wagons at the moment? You know, since everything is just coming back on track now, are you guys doing like more of a European tour or anything big coming up for you guys?
Well, we were very lucky that at the end of last year we had our headline tour, and that was in September, just as COVID restrictions eased. So we were able to do our headline tour, and it was great fun. And then we went to Europe in October, did some in Germany. That was difficult in that time. But then we got an offer to play with the Darkness, and we did the Darkness UK tour as well in November and December. So we toured September, October, November, December last year. I think we did about 60 gigs, which is I'm sure that was more gigs than any band had done in, I don't know, possibly the world. I don't know. in 2021, you know, it was crazy. how we got so much in. So we had a very, very busy last year.
Yeah.
And this year we've just recorded the album. So we're trying not to tour too much until later on in the year, really. So, but having said that, we still need money coming in. We need to keep active.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is usually once a month, we'll go out and we'll do a long weekend of gigs. So this month we're going to Scotland and we're playing some towns we've never played before. You know, Dumfries.
Cool, man.
Dumfries, Aberdeen. We've done Aberdeen before.
Yeah.
This festival called Bonfest, which is really cool, and Dunfermline. So, you know, we just try to spend our time, but not go to places that we always go. You know, there'll be smaller shows, you know, to fewer people, but it's kind of fun. You know, it like it's not over. You know, you're not over. What's the word? Not overexposing, but you know, you've been around too much.
The last thing you want is for you to burn out. You know, you just have to keep it easy and kind of enjoy the whole ride. To be honest, you know? Yeah,
exactly. And you don't want to be like, you don't want people to start going, well, I'll just get them next time in 6 months and we're back again. You know, I'll leave this. So we're doing that, and then in the summer we've got a lot of festivals. We're going to Europe to do some great festivals, which is something we've been wanting to do for years. And obviously COVID, we just haven't been able to do it. So we're doing Grass Pop, and we're doing one in France.
Yeah,
we're going to Switzerland. We're going to Finland. You know, we're doing these great open air festivals. And then later in the year, I do believe we will be touring the UK and Europe again. Yeah. So that will be a full tour. Yeah. So I think so. I think that's the plan.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So is there, like, you know, this is a very quick geeky question here for you. Is there like a quick, like a tip you can give out to, you know, the viewers out there when you're tracking guitars? How would you prepare yourself? You know, the things that you do and the things that you don't do, kind of thing.
Well, I now, in the day of digital recording, you know, it doesn't matter how much, you know, it's not tape. It's not going to run out.
Yeah.
If it's rubbish or you want to do it again, just do it again. It's no problem. So my advice would be to just go for it. You know, a lot of people I know, good players, will be fantastic live, and then they'll be warming up and it's fantastic, but then they'll sit down to record and they'll close up and they'll, you know, very safe and very boring. I would say don't do that. I would say sit down and go, who cares, and just do it.
Just play.
I had to make myself do this, and it only took until the last album really when I realized that I should just play like no one, like I'm not being recorded.
Yeah, exactly, man.
That's what happens, you know. So I think a lot of it is mental. I wouldn't say anything beyond that, really. You know, do what you do. Don't try to be anything you're not.
Yeah.
Play for the song as well. Don't you know, just because you can doesn't mean you should. You know, just because I can do this quick lick doesn't mean you should do. Does the song need it? The song is everything. Yeah.
Of course, man. That's some great advice, man. So, in general, here's another one. In general, if you're working on a song and you know you got like a 30-second or 40-second solo, while the writing process, you know, during the writing process, do you have, you know, an idea that this is what I'm going to lay down as a solo? And do you, once you have it, would you go back like the next day and try to change it or anything like that?
Yeah, for me, there's no rule, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll put a solo down when we're doing the demos, and then we'll come to recording, and I'll just do that again, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the time, if there's no idea at all, I'll think of the chords behind the solo. What's the rhythm doing? And then I usually go in and start playing those chords, and then look at the notes in the chord, and then try to work out a melody or something around those notes. That's the way I do it. And I like melody. I love guitarists like Dave Gilmour, and Steve Rothery of Marillion. You know, these guys are amazing. Richie Blackmore again, you know, with his classical approach to everything. It's just so much melody. You know, it's a proper. It's almost like a song within the song. And I always approach the solo like that. I want people singing the solo. Rather than look at my technical ability, you know. Plus, I'm not a technically great player, to be honest. So
modesty again, man. Too modest.
No, mate, it's true. But you know, it's kind of like you know, like if you're a footballer and you know, you're not Lionel Messi, so you try to be a Tony Adams. I don't know if you're into football. But, you know, like that was a real throwback. I don't know where that came from. But try to be a solid, you know, do what you do well, hold down the fort. And the song is the most important thing. Not my solo. The solo has to bring something to the song.
Of course,
and
man.
More and more, we're actually having less solos in the albums, or the solo getting shorter. Like, so in the demo, the solo might be 4 bars long. And then we listen back to the demo and we go, let's make it 2 bars. You know, it doesn't, if it's not changing or it's not evolving, then you need to do that. I mean, our intention is to write popular rock music. And there's a time and a place for some songs where we go, well, this is never going to be on the radio anyway. So okay, maybe we'll let that be. We'll let that go. But it still has to be something. It still has to bring something to the song. We have a song on the last album called Matter of Time, and it's 8 minutes long, and there's probably the longest guitar solo I've ever done. It maybe lasts 2 minutes at the end.
All right.
But it changes, you know, it evolves and moves all the way through the song, and the rhythms, and then there's backing vocals building up and percussion. You have to make sure that everything is all working together. So,
cool, man. So you know, having 2 guitarists in a band, what is the compromise? You know, who decides what the other plays? You know, what do you guys sit and work together when you write?
I make the decisions. No, the great thing about being in a guitar with Stephen, is he's a fantastic player, and I completely trust him. You know, up until 2017, when he joined, it'd always been with the old guitarist. It'd always been he was rhythm, I was lead. That was it. But then when Stephen joined, he was more happy and comfortable playing lead. It took a year or 2, but I started slowly giving him some lead as well. And I would say now, with all new music, it's pretty much 50-50. You know, it's
cool.
I don't know. If I write a riff, it's strange actually. So it's like I'll normally do the solos in the songs that Steve wrote the riff for, and vice versa, because again, it's bringing another mind to the song, and it just something else in the pot, and it just generates this more interesting thing. But no, he's great. I love waiting to see what he's going to come up with. So it's great. I personally love it. I don't understand this mentality in some bands where the 2 guitarists and it's like, no, you got that solo, so I get that solo. Yeah,
that is total BS, man. So, you know, so, you know, they're talking about tones. Do you guys actually sit and work together? So does Stephen have this kind of similar setup as you, or was there a compromise to where you guys decided this is what we for the band's sake, let's compromise and get the tones sorted out?
Well, Stephen came, and like I've mentioned, he's very traditional. So Stephen's thing is a Gibson SG straight into a non-master volume Marshall, like a JMP or something. And his sound is just monstrous. It's just the ultimate rock tone. It's Malcolm Young, you know, it's that kind of thing. So when he came, and it was like, oh, I suddenly had to compete with this monster sound, which was incredible. But I didn't want to change anything about what he does.
Yeah.
I therefore need to fit around what Stephen's doing,
Yeah.
which is fine. It works. This is a lot of guitarists do this. So it does mean I'm a little bit restricted, because if I use any of my Marshalls, like, you know, the same similar built Marshalls, too similar, you know, and because we play different parts, it's sometimes nice to have a different sound. You know, I like Stephen's all mid range. It's just that mid range bark bite, you know, takes your head off. Whereas I need to, I don't really scoop, you know, because I hate that. I hate that metal sound.
Yeah.
But I like use something like a treble booster.
Yeah.
Or you know, use an amp like a Buddha, which is got a lot of weight, low behind it, and you can kind of hear it in your chest, you know, when you play. So it gives me a lot more. It's fun, really, because I have to try different things and make it work. And like, I find an amp like the Buddha Super Drives just work with what Stephen does, you know, because Stephen doesn't change. You know, Stephen does what Stephen does. So that's cool, though, you know, because what he does is amazing.
Yeah, awesome, man. It's good you guys have that kind of understanding. You know, having two guitars in a band, especially a rock band, could be a quite challenging thing. But, you know, great to hear that you guys, you know, work things out. Before we end this, you want to give a shout out to your fans, or your brands, or anything like that at all?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, thanks to yourself for having me, letting me waffle on. Thank you to everyone who supports us, buys our music, comes to gigs, buys merch. You know, it's obvious to say, but this doesn't exist. This doesn't go on without you guys. Can't wait for everyone to hear the new album. Thank you to I guess Bare Knuckle pickups. They're just incredible. They make genuinely the best pickups out there. I don't know, really. That's people like yourself, to be honest. That's the main thing, you know, giving us the time and the platform to promote what we do, you know. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so very much, man. I'll soon catch you out on the road soon, man. Take care.
Cheers, Ryan. Thank you very much, mate.